Dear patrons, I wanted to thank everyone for joining us this morning as I introduce arguably one of the hottest companies on the market today. Just to put things in perspective, we started talking to Voyager when it was a sub 100 million market cap last year, and it is now nearly 3 billion US today. Not a bad 12 months if you ask me. I attribute this rocket ship to a few important factors. One, the growth in AUM, managerial execution, and the surge of interest in cryptocurrency. Two, Michael Legg being hired as an internal IR, a legend in the space that I have nicknamed Nails because of his toughness. And then three, finally, the most important element, which is the fact that I did not buy any shares when prompted to by several intelligent investors in the know. If I had bought Voyager under $1, I'm pretty confident that it would not be at current levels today. So, what better way to launch Zooming with LD this year than with Voyager Digital, ticker VYGVF? The company is one of the leading crypto brokers currently in the space that provides retail and institutional investors with a turnkey solution to trade crypto assets. The company offers customer access to the largest crypto market and has an interest rate that makes you feel extremely inadequate when you compare it to what your bank pays you. Trust me, you're getting diddly squat. Joining us on the call today is Mr. Steve Ehrlich, the co-founder and CEO of Voyager Digital. Steve has spent a majority of his career in the brokerage space and was an integral part of building the company from the bottom up. Steve, thank you so much for joining us today. The floor is now yours.
Thanks, Chris. I'm going to go share my screen here for everybody. And appreciate all those kind words and really appreciate the fact that you didn't buy the stock so we can be where we are today.
My pleasure.
Usually that happens to me. If I buy something, just go the other way. I'm, fortunate enough, as you said, we were less than 100 million market cap not that long ago, and now 3 billion. So it's been a nice run. And I appreciate everybody taking the time, learning more about Voyager here, asking questions when the time allots, and happy to answer them. We're really excited about what we're doing at Voyager. We're excited about the space we're in, where we've come from, where we think we're going, and where we know we're going, and where this industry is going is really exciting. And it's such an opportunity that spending some time presenting today is a privilege. And I appreciate everybody taking their time out of their day to do it, because I know time is valuable. So, first and foremost, we are the fastest growing digital asset broker. Chris alluded to it. I just mentioned it, 30 times our market cap in probably 6 months. But the thing that sets us apart is we are a digital asset crypto broker focused on the cryptocurrency space. When everyone gets a chance, the disclosure statements, forward-looking statements are on my website. Go to www.investvoyager.com and look for the Investor Relations tab, and you can see more information about the company and see a copy of this presentation. What really sets us apart in the cryptocurrency space is what we call the Voyager difference. And there's, six really, the sixth one that's not on here, but there's 6 real distinct differentiators for us. First and foremost, it is such an easy to use mobile and desktop application. And we focus a lot on mobile. Our desktop is in beta. That's coming over the next few months, but we get the full desktop as we scale it out. We set out when we started building the company 3 years ago, and it's only been 3 years for us since we hired our first person outside of me and started building what we felt was going to be the crypto trading app of the future, the financial services firm of the future. We wanted to make sure that the mobile app was easy for people to use, but in the same token, not so easy that you feel like you're a 6-year-old. We wanted to make sure it was a mature app that really engaged consumers and gave them an opportunity to create wealth in the crypto market. We believe we've accomplished it, and our statistics, support that, and we'll share some of that in a little bit. In addition to being able to trade over 50 crypto assets, we also allow over 20 of them to gain interest. So not only do you buy your Bitcoin, the USDC, dollar-backed stable coin, Ethereum with us and hold it with us, you actually earn interest as well. So we take the best parts of trading with the best parts of interest bearing and bring them together. So effectively, you have an interest-bearing checking account while you're creating wealth through the crypto market. Those are 3 other steps for us that are real big differentiators. The 5th differentiator is the execution system we've put together. My experience in the capital markets for 25 years. I've built dynamic smart order routers in the past. I had a business that was a direct access business. we decided to put together a dynamic smart order router that's connected to 10 plus exchanges and bring a depth of liquidity that you get far deeper than if you're trying to trade on just one exchange in the marketplace. So we connect to the world's exchanges and market makers to bring a deeper pool of liquidity and then faster execution. And the sixth point that's not here that we'll shortly get onto the presentation is how we've built a community. We have a really deep, engaged community that loves coming to our app, 50,000 plus deep on Twitter now, that really talks about our product and our offering and really helps us grow our business organically. It's something that within the crypto space, we've mastered, and we're the leader there, and we've become the leader in agency brokerage because of the fact that we've been able to take all these differentiators, couple it with such a dedicated and growing community, and brought it all together. We think there's four investment highlights that every investor should look at. We'll touch on all four stools of the chair. First is the massive market opportunity. Crypto markets are about 1.5 trillion today. A lot of comparison happens to the gold market, which is about 9 trillion. So we're a sixth of the way there already in an asset that's only been around about 10 years. So think about that and what the growth is coming in a 10-year period. We think it will go past gold in the near future. And the sights are set on the entire investable asset market, which is so big, and it shows you such a big opportunity in the crypto markets. And why are all the traditional financial systems ripe for disruption? There's a lot of reasons why, but a couple I want to point out on this slide is, first and foremost, if anyone's ever had to try to move money from their bank on a Saturday to a friend or to finalize a business deal, trying to move money on a Saturday is impossible. I walked into my local Bank of America branch 2 weeks ago on a Saturday and had to move some money, and I was told, sorry, the wire department's closed. You have to come back and make an appointment during the week. Well, crypto market doesn't close. It's 24/7, 365, and you can move your money any point of time, any day of the year, whether it's Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, you can move your money. It's not closed. So you have accessibility to your money, every single day of the year. It's borderless. So if you want to move money from myself to a friend in Spain, I don't have to go through a SWIFT and take 3 days to get the wire there and move money. It happens instantaneously with no borders. And then the last most important thing I think on the slide is the fact that there's beginning a lack of trust in the banking system that's starting to grow, especially in the millennial world. And crypto is there to support that and take over. And if you don't believe me about virtual currencies, then Ben Bernanke, the ex-chairman of Fed Reserve, you could read this on our website. Look, there's long-term promise in virtual currency. You're seeing a lot of adoption starting to happen. Some of the key metrics of our business. We're now averaging over $14 million of new money coming on our platform every day. And that's coming from people investing dollars or bringing crypto onto the platform. So in the month of February, we just announced we had over $400 million of net new deposits on the platform for the month. And that comes from existing and new customers. So we have tremendous engagement with our customers. They continue to bring more assets on their platform and build their crypto portfolios. Our principal value that we trade, which is one of the key stats we look at on our business, gets traded, customer assets get traded between 1 and 1.5 times every single month. And that helps generate the revenues that we get on the business. But it shows you, again, the engagement of our customer base and how much they're engaged in the crypto world. A stat I'll throw in there as we're talking here is that, Coinbase just filed their S1 and they claim to have 43 million verified users. We have 605,000 verified users. But out of their 43 million verified users, they said only 2.8 million or 6% of them actually traded in the month of December based on their stats. In our month of February, we just announced we had 175,000 funded accounts, 600,000 verified users. And of that 175,000 accounts, 130,000 of them actually executed the trade. So just do the math. 25% of our customers actually executed the trade compared to 6%. So we have a really engaged customer base. Our account acquisition is quite low as we're acquiring accounts at $35 and less. And our monthly revenue is 30 and it keeps growing to the point in January it was 80 and it was even higher in February. So we get a tremendous return on our cost to acquire an account. And when we put this deck together, our user growth was 20% month over month through 2020. In 2021, we saw 150% growth from December to January, and then we saw a 35% growth from January to February. So you can see as adoption is happening, we're acquiring accounts on a low cost basis. We're growing accounts really fast. We also have this slide in here when we had a path to 20 billion that we thought would take to 2025, and we expect to exceed that by a couple of years now. We ended December at 40,000 customer accounts. We're now at 175,000 customer accounts at the end of February. So well on our way to a 1 million accounts by 2025. As the business continues to grow, and if it grows and we have the same growth through the rest of the year, we should be able to get to 1 million accounts from 12 months from now. So beat that number by about 3 years, maybe longer. Maybe we'll beat it even faster. Also, the account size at the end of the year, we're at 4,500. Today, we're sitting at about 10,000 per customer account. And if you compare that to others in the industry, Robinhood, when they submitted their documents to Congress, said that their average account size is only 5,000. So we're already double their account size, well on our path to 20,000. So our path to 20 billion, we think, will come a lot quicker than 2025. Some other numbers that we've recently put out into the marketplace. We recently announced 1.7 billion of assets under management. Again, 175,000 accounts. That gets you to the 10,000 average accounts, average assets per account. Additionally, we have over 50 digital assets. Over 20 of them are interest bearing. We are regulated in the US under FinCEN, and we are offering our services in 49 out of 50 states. We're working with the New York State Department of Financial Services and obtaining the BIT license and hope to have that in the near future. Also working in Canada with the Ontario Securities Commission so that we can actually get an exemptive relief license and bring our services into Canada. And then in Europe, we recently acquired LGO, which is a French regulated by the AMF broker dealer, so that we can bring our services to France and then passport into the rest of Europe. Some pieces on the Voyager timeline. And like I mentioned earlier, we've only been doing this business 3 years. We only brought our beta application, the iOS, to market in February 2019. So we've been doing this 2 years. We brought our beta became the full application in November 2019. Same time we brought the Android to market. The same time we brought the interest component with the trading. So in literally 15 short months, we've grown from a few thousand accounts to where we are today. Some other key components of this timeline is the acquisitions we have done. First, we acquired the Ethos platform in October 2019. The importance of the Ethos application and that acquisition was it brought us the crypto transfer product. So we were able to all of a sudden allow customers to bring crypto on the platform or take it off if they want to bring it to their own private wallet in over 20 coins. Then we acquired the accounts from Circle in March of 2020. And that was really important because Circle was one of the early adopters of crypto and had a retail business, an OTC desk, and a payment business. They decided that they wanted to focus on only the payment business. When they scanned the market to where their customers would find the best home, they found it was Voyager. And so we acquired the Circle accounts in March 2020, gave us a boost on our accounts, a few thousand accounts, but gave us a quick boost and some assets under management that really spearheaded the growth that we've seen. And then we acquired LGO, as mentioned, in France. So we're ready to go and operate in Europe when we get the rest of the infrastructure complete to do so. Second leg of our stool is the attractive business model. The type of customers we see are diverse. We got 4 different types of customers. We get those customers that want to come to us and just buy Bitcoin. Now, why do they come to us? Our average basis point spread on Bitcoin is between 40 and 50 basis points. We're a zero commission broker, but we do have a spread embedded in every execution we do, and it's between 40 and 50 basis points on BTC. Meanwhile, some of the other competition is at 200 basis points and commissions on top of it, and they charge spreads on the execution. So we are a place where people can really buy Bitcoin and create wealth at a much cheaper price and get interest on it at the same time. Then we have the yield seekers. The yield seekers are those that just want interest on the coins that they hold. So they bring them all into us, Bitcoin, USDC, Ethereum, some other coins that we have as well. And they get yield on that through the interest product. Altcoin, outside the top 4 or 5 coins, we have 50 other coins for people to trade. Dogecoin. So when Dogecoin goes crazy and people want to buy Dogecoin, Elon Musk tweets about it, where do they go? They go to Voyager. And then there's the cost-conscious investors. Those investors that are looking for lower spreads and ease of use come to Voyager. So 4 distinct different user bases. and therefore revenue streams. On this slide, we show 4 different revenue streams, but our revenue streams are really broken into 2 main components. The first component is the interest spreads that we make on, the revenue spreads that we make on every trade. And we average about 60 basis points per every trade. It varies. Bitcoin's 40 to 50 basis points. Altcoins are higher than that. So the blended rate is 60 or 70, although we've seen that tend to move up in the last couple of months as people are buying more and more of the altcoins. So 60 to 70 basis points on an annual basis is over 7% is what we earn, with an 80% gross margin on that business. The other side of the revenue stream is what we earn on the interest product. And over the entire asset base, we earn, give or take, 4% of the entire asset base in interest over an annual basis. And we have about a 10% margin on that. So if you couple the 2 revenue streams, you get 7% on the trading revenue, 4% on interest. It's about an 11% of our AUM is what we actually earn on an annual basis off our asset base. So we tend to tell investors, look at 10 to 12% is what we can earn on customers. It's also spiked up as trading volume continues to increase and customers trade more, which they have in January and February. That 10% could accelerate to 15 to 20% as we saw in February. Just want to show you some charts, bottom left, top right, where our assets were and how we've grown. We only had $5 million of customer assets in December 2019, and we're at over 1.7 billion at the end of February. That's a 340 times growth in literally 14 months. So you can see just from an asset size, how much we've grown. Additionally, the number of trades we've processed, 8,500 trades in December 2019. We processed over 2 million trades in February 2021. Again, another outrageous number of 235 time growth in a 14-month spread. These are just 2 of the metrics that have exploded for us over the last 14 months. And how do we acquire our customers? A question I always get asked. You're doing it at $35 a customer account. How do you get these customers? Well, we have 5, different distinct areas where we get our customers from. First and foremost, we started our business with content marketing. And from day one in 2018, we started building content through blogs and through emails. And we've done a really nice job of engaging our consumers through the content we send out. Additionally, that content gets redistributed through some of our partners like Sterling Trader Tech, and most notably Market Rebellion, which is run by Pete and John Nigerian and Dirk Muller, where they take our content and distribute it to their customer bases. So we get an extra bang because we're not only going to the users, the verified users that we have within Voyager, we actually are now hitting other customers as well, getting our brand and getting our content out there. Social media, we're over 50,000 followers on Twitter today. We're expanding our presence on Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat. We're everywhere, and we're growing that part, and it's a really cost-effective way to engage with our users. The other thing about that is we do engage with our customers where we're talking to them. We see problems. We try to answer as many as we can if there's issues or comments, and we just want to engage with them and get their feedback on different things. We use it as polls to learn more about what customers want. Additionally, I'm active on Twitter too and answer 50 to 100 Twitter DMs every single day as well. So we're engaged with our customer base. Paid advertising. We do the traditional digital advertising, and we have a couple of things that we keep close to the vest that we do that helps us find customers on a cost-effective basis. We also promo and sponsor different YouTube channels and different influencers on that front, which leads me to the affiliate and influencer relationships we have. We work with crypto influencers, but we have pro athletes that are using our platform today too. NFL Hall of Famer Marshall Faulk is a user of our platform and helps us engage with consumers. Current NFL quarterback Matt Barkley, and then current Oakland A's outfielder Stephen Piscotty, all working with us today as crypto enthusiasts out there trying to engage with consumers. Some of the competitive differentiation we have versus the market, and we break this slide can be broken into exchanges, interest-bearing products, and just simple trading apps or payment apps. Against the exchanges, we have more coins, more interest-bearing. We're unaffiliated when it comes to routing our trades. We don't send all our trades to one execution point. We have multiple. And so therefore, that's one of the big items that separates us from quite a few different of the players on here. From the interest bearing, we have more assets. We trade more. Our customers have no lockups when they gather interest. So they like coming to Voyager because they can hold their Bitcoin. If they see they want to sell it at a moment's notice, they have the ability to do it without pulling it out of any storage or any wallet, and they can just do it right then and there. And then one of the more important things of all this is that we're publicly traded. People get comfort with us because they know their assets are being audited. We put out quarterly financials that are reviewed by the auditors, and we have an annual audit, so they know that they can trust the numbers that we provide. Future growth opportunities for Voyager, a couple of key ones here. We've already been approved by MasterCard to get our debit card in the market, so we're working as fast as we can to get that into the marketplace. Our desktop is in beta. That should come to the marketplace in full version in the next 2 months as we build out the scale on that desktop, as there's a lot of users already beta on that and giving us some feedback. We're working towards a credit card too, to make sure we can bring credit to the marketplace over the next 12 months. And then margin is a key component of what we're looking at to abide by the regulatory framework related to margin. But equities, we own a broker dealer and we'll soon bring an equity product to market, through our partnerships, and be able to bring equity so customers can actually use BTC or Bitcoin or US dollar stablecoin to effectuate equity trades. Third leg of the stool, the scalable infrastructure. The Voyager People See is the mobile app and the web and the API, because we have a lot of people writing to the API, including Market Rebellion, to access our market data, execution, and really control the customer experience within their world. But the Voyager you don't see, all homegrown. We've built our own market data and pricing engines, our own order management system, smart order router, the wallet infrastructure and custody, everything we've built on our own. But really, when you look at this, the most important line on this and the most important block is the bottom one. It's the green one, the regulatory compliant platform that everybody knows we're playing in an environment that we're overseen by FinCEN and state regulations, and we're complying with all the BSA and AML rules. Really important thing to note is that we're applying, we're applying by all those rules. Some of our innovative tech, I've touched on the smart order router and our asset selection, but custody and security, we use multiple custodians to take advantage of the insurance policies and all the process and procedures they have around custody. Rather than do that ourselves, we work with some of the biggest custodians in the business to actually make sure our assets are held and our customer assets are held securely across these multiple custodians. Fourth leg of the stool, trusted and transparency. I mentioned public companies really important. We're working with outside auditors to get to a SOC 1 and SOC 2 certifications. And then we mentioned that the trusted and well-known partners we work with on the custody side, they're also on the banking side and other parts of the platform, all with really well-known partners. But then on this, the most important part, the experienced team, capital markets experience, bringing to the forefront. Some of our trusted partners, I mentioned some of the custodians, Fireblocks, Ledger, BitGo. We work with Coinbase on some execution, and Cumberland, as well as look at the names on this chart, all big names in the industry. Now a little bit about our founding team. Myself and my 3 co-founders, we started this business in 2018. My background is spent 7 years at E-Trade building up the entire brokerage infrastructure. We sold the business to E-Trade in 1999. I was the second in charge on the brokerage side and ran all the brokerage strategy for E-Trade. And then I spun a unit out of that and made it Lightspeed Financial. And over 3 years, from 2006 to 2008, I built that from 8,000 trades a day to 450,000 trades a day, and grew that to the 3rd largest online broker in the space in 2008 and 2009, focusing on direct access technology. Then my co-founders, 2 of them, Philip Aton, Gaspar Dedruzzi, serial entrepreneurs that have built fintechs and other businesses in the past, most notably Socure, which is a just raised money, $1.2 billion KYC provider. And then Capital and Pager, which is a telemed business that is also worth about $1 billion. And then most notably on the founding slide is Oscar Salazar. Oscar was the founding CTO at Uber and built the very first Uber app and brought that to market. So Oscar knows a lot about disruptive technology and how to get those type of mobile apps to the marketplace. But it doesn't stop there. Other members of our team, you see the E-Trade experience, you see Anchorage from a custody. David Broskell just came on board in the last week to lead our legal department, and he's been in the business for a while. but you see really big opportunity for us to leverage the experience that people have in other parts of financial services and crypto. Now our catalyst to growth, to finish off, product expansion, as I mentioned, international expansion, Canada, Europe, we're working on adding there. Mass consumer acceptance, we're starting to see that happen in the crypto industry. But most notably for our stock and for investors is the S1 that was just filed by Coinbase, and the preliminary numbers that Coinbase is seeing in the private market of 50 times revenue. That's a catalyst for us. I mean, as we go down our path, we're on the Canadian Securities Exchange today. We're looking to graduate up, and we're working with the Toronto Stock Exchange to graduate up to the Toronto Stock Exchange. But then we're also looking at following behind Coinbase and get to NASDAQ too. And we're working towards that. But as a public company comp, when Coinbase actually does finish their direct listing and become a public company, 50x their revenue is a great comp for a company like Voyager, and shows where we are with our value today and where we should be down the line. So that's all I have. I thank everybody for taking the time to listen and learn a little bit more about Voyager.
Steve, thank you again for the presentation. We have a lot of questions, so I'm going to go through it one by one. And for anyone who's interested in asking a question that is currently listening to the webinar, please feel free to use the Q&A app. It's on the bottom of your screen, and I'll see if I can get to it. But first question, Steve. Let's see. Okay, out of the 50 crypto assets that you guys trade, how much of the volume is strictly Bitcoin?
That's a great question. And when I give this answer right now, I'm going to surprise the heck out of everybody, because we've seen what Coinbase filed and how much. Our Bitcoin volume is about 15%.
Got it. And then what are the other notable crypto names that people trade on a dollar volume amount?
We've got quite a few of them. We've got, whether it's Link or IOTA or the VGX token, there's a bunch of them, or Doge. It varies every day. It's whenever things are, hot in the market or opportunities, that's why we did the model we did, is brought 50 plus coins to the market, is because we wanted to give consumers the opportunity to take advantage of what's in the market. I tend to say that if you only have the opportunity to buy the top 5 coins, that's like an online equity broker telling you should only go buy the FANG stocks. Makes Correct. No sense to me. Consumers want more than just 5 coins. And so it could vary for us every single day, every month, it varies.
Got it. On a competitive landscape, who do you guys usually go head to head with the most?
It varies on that as well. On the interest side, there's a couple of competitors, but our product is interest bearing and trading, so we win a lot of the business that way. On the exchange side, obviously, it's all the big exchanges like Coinbase and Kraken. And, our platform is meant to be used by mass market and bringing a user experience that the mass market and retail consumers can actually use. Where a lot of those exchange platforms tend to have a lot of level 2 data and a lot more information that confuses the mass retail market. So we tend to get that down the middle customer. And so we compete with some of the exchanges, some of the interest guys, but we pretty much stand alone in the fact that ease of use of the platform with the trading and the interest, we win a lot of business once people find out about us, and we're doing our job to market more and more and more. Once they find out and use the platform, they're engaged and they love the platform.
What reasons do people give you when you guys ultimately lose an account? And do you guys disclose churn?
My COO tells me, and I ask him all the time, and I look at the data, we lose less than 1% of our customers. It's very little that leave us. There are customers that use us as on and off ramps where they'll bring dollars in and buy a coin and then bring it to their own personal wallet, because that's the way they feel like is the best way for them to secure their assets. But we have very, very little churn, less than 1%. And we haven't gotten any specific reasons. Some people, I think it's mainly just for security and taking it to their own wallet.
How do you decide which crypto assets to trade? And does the complexity differ depending on the asset?
Yeah, this is a question asked a lot, and a lot by coins that want to be listed on our platform. And we engage and we encourage people to reach out and want to be listed on our platform. But there's a lot of legal analysis that goes into this. We have a whole risk committee that analyzes the coins and making sure they're utilities and not securities. And so we have a really detailed process that we use for this. But a lot of it starts from either our team looking in at the marketplace and seeing what customers are trading, volumes traded. At the same time, a lot of the coins reaching out to us and asking to be listed, or customers suggesting coins and say, I see a lot of trading here, or there's a lot of interest here. You might want to take a look at it. So the funnel coming in is endless. We get them from multiple points, but then we put them through a pretty heavy legal analysis as well from there.
You guys have built a pretty nice cash position over the last 12 months. Where do you see most of that money being deployed?
One word: marketing. That's our number one priority, is to continue to build our business out as direct to consumer marketing, as well as building the brand out. And you'll see us more and more as we continue to put our plan together and engage in the market.
And there was a couple other marketing questions that we'll get to in a second. But I like this one too. Is opening an account on Voyager as easy as opening up a TD Ameritrade or Robinhood account?
Easier. Look, you can get an account with us in 3 minutes or less. When you open an account with a broker dealer, there's a lot more questions that get asked. We have 5 or 6 screens, and you're literally done. You could actually open the account, and get through to funding and start trading in 3 minutes or less. So quicker. I think a lot of online brokers also may vet the accounts a little bit longer and may come back to you a day later. We had a wait list for a time, so I know there's probably watchers and listeners saying, yeah, but you guys, been taking some more time recently. We did have a wait list because the demand was so high. That wait list will be gone over the next few days, and we'll be back to within 3 minutes or less. You'll be able to download the app, get through the KYC as long as you pass it, and then fund all in 3 minutes or less.
Understood. So, of course, the reference to the marketing. Have you guys historically had to rely on big marketing budgets and promotions to get people to sign up? How will that change in the coming year?
Actually, no. We've done this, with a very small marketing budget, which is why we went out and raised $146 million, because our investors also realized, hey, if they have more marketing dollars, think about what this company can do with a big marketing budget. We've done it with a really small marketing budget. A lot of scalability organically through word of mouth, some promos of within that. Now think about what we can do with that much money to actually go market and really blast the US. And then when we get to Canada and Europe, use those marketing dollars there too. But no, that's what gets me so excited. It's like, we've built the business in 15 months and we didn't really raise a heck of a lot of money, maybe 20, 25 million along the way. Now I have 146 million. We announced the other day that actually our cash on our balance sheet's over 200 million. Think about what we can accomplish now. The moon is where we're going.
On a regulatory basis, how is the US different than Canada, Europe, and the rest of the world?
Look, I think the US takes a much more careful approach to regulation. Europe, France has some sort of infrastructure and regulatory infrastructure in place. We're working with that to obviously bring our services there. Canada has said, depending on how you structure your business, but if you're custodying assets on behalf of customers, you're a broker dealer and need to be registered. That's why we're going after the exemptive relief registration there. US is a little bit more patient, taking a little bit more time to come with the regulatory infrastructure. And I appreciate that. I think that will come over time. And when it does, it's going to expand the business even further, because consumers will be much more engaged and more comfortable in working with an SEC or CFTC or some other regulatory framework within cryptocurrency. Today, we operate under FinCEN and state regulation, but consumers, I said this earlier today to someone on a call, consumers tend to understand SEC and CFTC. They don't understand as much FinCEN and state regulation. So we look forward to that, but I think it'll be careful regulation. But the US is taking a little bit more time in doing that.
In terms of insider ownership, what percentage of the company do insiders own, and has that dynamic changed with the recent run up in the stock?
No, not really. I think the insiders are 30, 35% at this point in time. We're excited about our own stock. And, even with some of the sales, we had insiders sell a little bit as part of the latest round that we raised. But still, I think the insiders sold, too early financial investors sold, and myself, and it was like 10% of any holdings. So we still got 90% of what we think is going to be a huge opportunity for us down the line here.
Do you believe that Robinhood or TD will allow their customers to trade crypto in the coming year?
Uh, Look, I think on Robinhood, they offer a limited offering right now, 6 coins or so forth. But you can't transfer out. There's no interest. Look, those businesses, both those guys, I don't know. I mean, where their heads are at on crypto, I think it's a lot more difficult than plugging it into an equity infrastructure to get started. I'm sure there's a lot of reasons why they haven't yet. It's the opportunity for us. I think I'm an old school guy. I've been doing this crypto. I've been doing broker dealer since 1994. And I remember 1999, 2000, 2001, when options started becoming more popular. Everyone was saying about Options Express and Thinkorswim. When's E-Trade or Ameritrade going to go into options? You know what those guys did? They bought Thinkorswim and Options Express and Schwab. Those guys all bought those guys because the capabilities with some of these different asset classes are far different than what they have. So we welcome, whether they want to enter. We're sitting here. We're just going to continue to build our business.
Well, Steve, the joke is I had 5 different brokerage accounts, and every single time that TD Ameritrade would buy one, I would go to the other brokerage account, which then TD Ameritrade would also proceed to purchase.
That's
So,
the way those guys seem to operate, right, Chris? I mean,
of course.
you get the top of market, business that has done this before and knows how to operate these businesses, because they're not as easy as everyone thinks. Look, I was doing the VP of strategy. I was the number 2 guy in brokerage at E-Trade. We saw Tom Sosnoff Thinkorswim on a jump drive. We saw Gain Capital on a little drive, and we're like, how do we integrate this? And so we passed. And later on, E-Trade wound up buying, Trade Monster, the combination of Trade Monster and Option House to get their options business in place. So,
Well, a lot of people don't remember this, but Thinkorswim was also public. And you would see them at the Merriman conference or the B. Riley conference, and a lot of people didn't really know what to make of it. But you're right, consolidation is usually key. And then this was a very interesting question. How much of your trading is done on the desktop versus the mobile phone?
oh, very little on the desktop today. That's why it's in beta. I think we have 250, 300 users maybe. We're working out the scaling issues on that, which is why we haven't unveiled it to the mass public yet. We're working through scaling on that to make sure it scales to. We believe that when that beta comes to the market, my own chairman uses the beta and doesn't shut it off all day. He has it on his desktop all day long, looking at prices. And I think when people get the beta and have access to it, they're not going to shut it off. So we want to make sure that that's scaled for so many users too. It's a really amazing product. I look at it, I use it, but I'm on the go. I don't watch it nearly as well as everybody else does, because trying to just do business all day. But I think once it's there, we're going to have tremendous use on that. Right now, it's very, very, very tiny, but it's just going to increase our trades.
So I know this is kind of a trick question, and I'm just giving you a heads up. Which is more important, revenue growth or profitability in your eyes?
uh, Next question.
Yeah, exactly. No, just say both.
Yeah,
Both.
I think couple of things that you could learn out of the Coinbase S1. As we grow revenue, I believe, if memory serves me right, on the S1, Coinbase had about a 49% operating margin or EBITDA margin. As we grow revenue, we believe we will hit those same, if we haven't already, hit those same operating margins. So our goal is to reinvest our cash back at all points in time to keep funneling marketing dollars in to keep growing the business. So top line revenues, obviously, and customer growth is really important for us. We know where we can get to on the operating margin, if so choose. And those guides of 49% that Coinbase have, they're in our sights. I'll tell you that.
Roger. And of course, a Coinbase question. Do you guys look at Coinbase as friend or foe? And how do you think the IPO changes the perception people have for you and the stock?
Both friend and foe. We use them as one of the exchanges. We have a really good relationship with Coinbase. We love that relationship. So friend and foe, we do compete with them for the mainstream consumer. But another interesting stat I noticed on their S1 was, I think, and someone pointed out to me, someone sent me a tweet at me on this, was that I think 65% of their revenue was institutional and 35% was retail. So, we're finding our place, and we have our place in the retail consumer marketplace. We're not trying to be trying to execute Michael Saylor's $1 billion crypto trade. That's not who we are. We're the retail product, and I call ourselves the retail platform for crypto consumers. So, and then when it comes to them going public, I think it just gives more credibility to the industry, which is exciting for us. And another reason I get so, piped about this business is because, we've been doing this as the only real public company in whether agency, broker, or exchange. The other public companies in crypto have been miners, and that's a different model altogether. They go by the value of Bitcoin. We don't. When Bitcoin goes down, we have great trading days because people are piling in and buying more, putting more money on the platform. Volatility is our friend.
Correct.
And so we're the only one. So having another comp, I'm excited. I get really juiced and excited about that.
I mean, Steve, obviously looking back, hindsight is always 2020, and a huge shout out to Elise Stern for telling me this. This was pretty much the only public way to play it. And everyone kind of knew. I mean, a lot of people ask me all the time what my stance is on crypto, all the time. And I know that crypto is here to stay. I just don't really know what dynamic it's going to evolve into. So this is my question to you. How do you see the cryptocurrency industry evolving in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, kudos to Elise to giving you the heads up. She's
Yeah.
been a great friend to us, so appreciate that. And look, I think you're right. In if you're not comfortable, someone's not comfortable in making an investment into a cryptocurrency, the way to play the market was to buy our stock, because as there's more adoption from consumers that have that skepticism, then you come to us. And the volatility you play through us. I think over the next 5 to 10 years, I do a lot of research. I do a lot of reading. I wake up at 6 o'clock every morning and I'm reading for a couple hours every morning, understanding what's out there. There's a transformation that's going to happen in financial services. There's no doubt in my mind. You now have the DTC and SEC talking about going from a T+2 settlement to a T+1. Well, what's going to enable, immediate settlement? Blockchain, and, the blockchain is going to enable that. So we're seeing this adoption that's going to happen to change financial services. And I speak to financial services, and I know it's going to change a lot of other things too. So mortgages, everything. And there's some great companies doing some stuff on the mortgage front too, with all the smart contracts, and there's lots of protocols to do it. There's no doubt over the next 10 years, blockchain and the cryptocurrencies will replace a lot of our infrastructure, do things more efficient. And we're still in the top of the second inning of the adoption and getting people comfortable with it. But the same thing happened with the internet. Remember, is this internet thing going to stay 20 years ago, 25 years ago? And we had dial up, and everyone's like, this dial up can't last a long time. Like, who's going to actually ever dial on it and wait for the beeps and the sounds that happened? And it takes and all of a sudden now we can't live without the internet. Same thing's happening here.
Well, Steve, the reason I think crypto is here to stay, and it's been my stance for the last couple of years, is just the fact that you can do, I mean, the utility of it is unlike any fiat currency or even this. And of course, I have to bring this out for everyone to see. See, Persians, as you know, I'm Persian. I mean, gold has been our crypto for the last 4,000 years or so. I mean, what makes you, if you just do a head to head against gold, because there's a lot of gold bugs that are probably listening right now where it's like, I'll never give this up. I mean, what do you think will need to happen for the gold guys and the commodity guys to ultimately say, hey, you know what? Maybe I should put some of my assets in crypto, if that already hasn't happened.
Look, I harken back to a question too that says, who decided gold was going to be the worth something way back when, right? I mean, I
It's
don't know.
shiny.
What's that?
It's shiny. It looks great on my neck. I mean, look.
Yeah, I mean, well, and we know it makes good gifts for girlfriends and wives and so forth too. So, and even for girlfriends to
And
get,
Persian men and
yeah,
Persian.
I was going to say, and men, we like it too. So it's not a one-way street there.
Yeah.
But look, I think the investors in gold and silver, it's time to look at this as a store of value as well, against the debasement of all the currency in the U.S. Look, 1.9 trillion dollars going to be put into our economy again, and there's another follow up behind that with another program of another trillion something. It's like, just I read something that 90% of all the money or some crazy stat like that that has been put into the U.S. economy has come in the last 12 months. I mean, at some point we got to say, uncle, right? How are we ever going to repay that? I mean, I don't know. And so I get it. Gold has always been the standard, but I think it's time for people to look at, at least Bitcoin to start with, get comfortable with it, and use that as a hedge against what's going on in our economy.
Steve, I know how exactly they're going to pay for it. I'm just not going to say it publicly here.
I'm
Um,
afraid of that.
yeah, so let's go through the Q&A because on the Zoom app there's 10 more questions. So let me open it up. Let me take a deep breath. And by the way, I do the same thing that you do. Before we get into this last Q&A part, I always ask executives this question. How do you spend the day? I mean, what time do you typically go to sleep? What's the first thing that you do? And what I've learned just from reading Wall Street Journal Weekend Edition is that most successful people are early risers and they don't turn on the cell phone for at least the first couple of hours. So when you told me that you read, newspapers or things in the physical, are you also reading Wall Street Journal Weekend Edition, or this has kind of been your MO for for quite some time?
Yeah, I've been using a Kindle well before the app, well before the phone to read off of. But now that I got the iPhone 12, that's so much bigger, I could actually read it as an old man. The print is actually, I can actually read. But I've been reading, geez, for as long as I could remember. Wake up. I read off the phone or the Kindle or so forth, and that's how I tend to do most of my reading, especially now. Older days would have been the papers, Barron's and the Wall Street Journal and New York Times, etc., Financial Times. I just try to get my hands around anything that's going on. And what I always in the morning when I'm reading, it's not just about crypto, it's about financial services and other industries, because I'm always trying to find what's going on. And friends and family are always like, I can't, but what do you do? Go to some place. I'm trying to figure out the business model for like Madison Square Garden. I was there last night. Like, what's the business model? How are they going to, I'm always trying to figure out how other people use technology, business models, and not for no other purpose than like, how can I bring it back to my business and make myself more efficient in what we do, myself personally and my team and the entire business. So constantly trying to read. And then around 8:30 in the morning, then I try to answer some of the Twitter direct messages in the morning. Then my schedule's pretty set for the day with lots of calls, lots of meetings, regrouping with the team. At the end of the day, I tend to have my computer in front of me, answering emails or Twitter DMs at the end of the day while trying to relax and watch some movie or whatever New York sports team is on. Not whatever New York sports team. There's only a few I'll watch, my teams. And I'll try to watch that at the end of the day and answer emails and do some more reading.
Respect. So we have about, I want to say, 6 to 8 minutes left. So we'll do these as quickly as possible. This will be kind of our lightning round.
Sure.
And then this was a really good question because this is like the number one snub that Robinhood gets, and the fact that they don't have customer service. Do you guys have live customer service?
Unfortunately, I can't say yes. We have a lot of customer service people answering a lot of the emails, and we're getting through the backlog on that at as fast as we can. We have a goal of putting live customer service in place and working on a plan of that. The other reason for the 146 million raise is working on a live service plan and putting that in place. That can't happen overnight. We've got to get the right people on board, right systems, but that is our goal, is to get to a live service environment. So it's not just email anymore. We get it. We think this is money and it's important, and we'll get there.
Steve, if you ask my personal opinion, I think it's absolutely key. Like I'm 37 years old, but you would think I'm a 70-year-old man. I still use the phone for pretty much all customer service related things. A lot of these new age guys don't really believe in it, but but remember that your biggest customers may be the ones that, still operate using by phone.
It's an interesting thing. What you said is that it's not, doesn't really matter big or small customer. I think it's the urgency of certain issues need to be resolved. And sometimes people just want to, as much as we've gone away from phone-based service, there's still lots of people that do want to speak to somebody and feel more comfortable. It's financial assets. And when it's financial assets, there's that level, and we're working towards it. I can honestly say we're working towards it. Just a lot of pieces to put together, and security is a huge piece of it, right? I mean, we want to make sure that what we're doing is right and people don't have any risk on their assets, et cetera. So uh, I agree with you. And it's not just age, it's whether it's a 25-year-old. I think there are certain times they just want to call somebody, and it
Exactly.
doesn't matter if you're 25, 45, 75, they just want to call somebody. We're working towards it.
Like I never want to Zoom with Mike Legg, okay? Because he
Yeah.
brings kind of all the horrors of those 4-day Needham conferences in 10 degrees below zero temperature. I would much prefer to chat with him over the phone. Okay, so let's do this. Very quickly, do you guys sell any of your data?
No, we do not.
Got it. I know you answered this question, but let's just kind of recap it. Just try to sign up and you are not allowing new users. What is your backlog and how long are the waits?
Wait time should be within 24 hours right now. And that wait list should be off in the next couple of days.
So stay tuned, BC. You'll get your chance. Will you begin trading equities on the platform as well?
We own a broker dealer. We have ambitions to allow people to trade Bitcoin, and USDC is the denomination to trade stocks. Yes.
Let's see, I missed one. What will incremental margins look like this year? How much of each incremental dollar of revenue will drop to the bottom line?
So, uh, look, as I stated earlier, on the spread revenue we make, 80% of it drops to is our margin. On the interest, it's about 10%. We have stated publicly that we're going to grow our headcount like 3x from where it is today. That's the largest fixed expense item we have. So people can kind of start looking at our financials and do the math that way.
Respect. Let's see. How will potential regulation affect coin pricing and engagement of customers?
Look, I think thoughtful regulation, and having spoken to my own congressman, uh, and that's what he thinks will come over a 12 plus month period, will be good for the business. So we think it'll be good for all coin pricing. We think it'll be good for the industry in general.
Do you expect to be up and running in Canada and Europe in 2021?
Hopeful. Yep.
And what is the minimum what's the average account size?
Last publicly given information, we said 1.7 billion of assets, 175,000 accounts. So it's about 10,000 an account.
Okay. And then there's a quick question that came out. Do you guys have a relationship with USIO?
We do. They are our payment processor. We publicly announced that January 25th.
Yeah, those guys are awesome, down from San Antonio. And
You got
then
it.
you currently outsource custodian. Will you be adding this capability? If so, when?
We are not, we don't have any ambitions of owning our own self custody. We think whether it's Fireblocks or BitGo, Ledger, Anchorage, Coinbase, any of those guys do such a great job on the custody. We don't need to build it. We can do it through one of those guys in a really cost effective manner.
Excellent. Well, let's see, that is it. Steve, thank you so much for your time today. Your energy, what you guys have built, you've earned all the success. And I mean, I also think that this is going to be early in the timeline. Valuation, with Coinbase coming out, I mean, is there kind of a whisper number as to how big you think that market cap is going to be opening up? I'm hearing it's going to be over $100 billion.
I'm hearing in the NASDAQ private market, it's at 100 million, 100 billion, not 100 million, 100 billion, which is about 50 times revenue. And what I'm hearing is the direct listing may go off at 120 to 130. So over 50 times revenue. That's why, it brings a smile to my face. I'm trading. I think I'm trading at maybe 12 times revenue, 15 times revenue.
Well, listen, Steve, it brings a smile to your face, but you notice how I'm adjusting my nose. It's just look, I mean, again, people ask me all the time, what do you think of this? And it's like, you and I went through 99 and 2000. You and
Yeah.
I went through 07, 08. And I think the analogy that you gave of the internet is accurate. I mean, it's one of these things where, a lot of things got clipped even with the correction, but the best names came out up top. So look, it's one of these things where I think you have a competitive edge. It's plug and play, and we'll see what the future holds.
Yeah, it's execution, right? I mean, you're investing in the team, the management team, and the execution of the game plan.
For
And so
all,
far, we've executed to our game plan plus.
for all those who submitted a question by my email that I did not get to, or by text because I don't have my phone, please let me know. It's chris@ldmicro.com. And then, last question, where can people find out more information about the company? Where's the best place to go?
Investvoyager.com. You can go to our website and get a bunch of information, or you go to the CSE site and you can get it straight out the CSE as well.
Excellent. I know you have a busy day with Mike, so I will see you on the other side. Thanks for everyone for joining in today. We'll be in touch.
Thanks.
Thank you.